Hello, I am here. Gonna go ahead and just start typing some stuff away here. If you jump on, go ahead and let me know what time it is where you are, because right now it's 11:25 a.m. my time. I'm gonna start talking about abundance and how to break free from your current financial reality at 11:30 a.m. my time. But what time is it your time? If you would, please go ahead and let me know in the comments where you're from, what time it is. Ooh, it's your time too. Is it Noemi? Am I pronouncing that right? Noemi? I try to talk to people, on the chat and use your name. And when I say names, I'm always concerned I'm going to say the wrong name or I'm going to say it the wrong way. Because my name is Andrea, but some people say Andrea, Andrea. All right, what all times we got here? 8:25 in California. Vanessa's in Massachusetts. Midwest. Mary, 10:25 a.m. in Tennessee. Ooh, Israel, India. Hello, Ahmed. Hello, Alex from Tampa. I used to live in Tampa, Alex. Believe it or not. I lived right by Raymond James Stadium, believe it or not. Oh, 11:26 in Pennsylvania. Thank you for the nice comments. Ezzy loves everything. Oh, that's so nice. Yes, everyone, today we're going to be talking about how to stop being trapped in your current financial reality. And I'm going to start taking questions pretty soon. I'm just waiting for a few more people to hop on the call. In about 4 minutes, we'll start chatting. So if you've got questions about, how do you break free from your current financial reality, go ahead and get them ready. I'm going to have my assistant, Mary, today is going to be moderating our chat. So if you see her, say hi to her. Mary is actually a pretty interesting story because I definitely manifested her. I was looking for an assistant and she just dropped into my inbox one day and she has turned out to be such an amazing assistant. And so she's an example of how you can manifest things out of nowhere, which is really cool. Hello, Princey. Hello, Irene from Greece. Alex is 5 minutes from Raymond James. We were neighbors, Oh, Nook Tusky. Oh, goodness. Glad you caught the live. I'm glad you caught the live too. Yeah. Hi, Mary. There's Mary. Mary 1111. That's her. Big surprise, right? Thank you, Pedro. You are so nice. I appreciate that. Ahmed, Mary's my assistant. She's moderating today's call. So she's joining us today. Hello, KD from Serbia. Good morning, Lauren. Winnipeg, Lisa D. Is it cold? It's got to be freezing up there. I used to live in Michigan and it got pretty cold there. I would imagine Winnipeg is amazing. Am I saying it wrong the whole time, Ahmed? Oh my goodness. Hi, Banji. Banji. I always say Banji's name wrong too. It is cold. Very good. Yeah, so I wanted to make sure to start talking about on the channel, taking some abundance questions from you guys. I've been doing a lot of abundance stuff the last couple of weeks. You may or may not have noticed. And so I thought it would be fun to come on and do a live stream with you guys and answer some of your questions. And one of the questions that I get the most about abundance is, how do you stop attracting the same thing, the same reality? Because you get what you focus on. Okay, so whatever you're focusing on is what you attract. And very frequently people have difficulty looking beyond their current circumstances. So if you were raised poor, or if you were raised in a more poverty mindset and the world around you is showing that to you, how do you start to think like somebody who's wealthy? How do you start to believe like somebody who's wealthy in order to attract wealth, in order to attract prosperity? And Banji, I got it right the second time. Okay, good. And so anyway, this is something that I'm very passionate about because some of you may or may not know, I didn't come from a wealthy background, and attracting wealth and money was not something that came normal to me. Some of you know some of my background and history, but when I started learning about the law of attraction, when I first learned the law of attraction, I was not making very much money. I hadn't made any raises in a very long time. The community that I lived in had gotten hit really bad by the housing market crash, and we were coupon cutting and saving, and I had young children, and it was just a mess. And fortunately, that was the time that the law of attraction came to me. And like a lot of you, probably, I was first introduced by The Secret. And so when that came to me, I got really excited and started applying a lot of the techniques that I was learning. And within 6 months, I ended up moving out of this rundown home into a nice, gated, brand new community. And from there, income started taking off and things started going better. And today I run my own successful business. My husband does very well. And we attract more and more as time goes on. And so I really wanted to take some of your questions today about, how do you do that? How do you stop looking at the environment around you to attract more money? So if you've got some questions, some personal questions, make sure to go ahead and drop them in the comments. I will run through and try to answer as many as I can. I do kind of scroll up and down, heads up. So let's say that you post a question and you notice that I answer somebody else's question who chimed in below you. There's still a good chance I will come back and check your question and answer it. I just answer the questions in the sequence that makes the most sense to me energetically. But feel free to go ahead and drop a question if you'd like in the comments. Okay. Thank you, Lisa. Okay. Stash spot Tay. Am I saying that right? I recently noticed that I'm seeing an abundance of people around me getting what they want. I take it as a good sign I'm next. That's a really great strategy. If anyone's paying attention, it's really common if you want something and you see everybody else around you getting it, for there to be pangs of jealousy or feeling like it's not mine, it's not coming, everybody else gets it but me. But that right there is a really great thing. Is take it as a good sign because you're attracting it. Okay, so if somebody by you attracts something that you want, you actually attracted that. You attracted that experience into your existence, which means that your focus drew that in. So that's a technique I've actually used with cars. Okay. So I always end up getting the car that I want. And when I see cars I like on the road, I'm psyched. Like I saw a McLaren driving home from the gym the other day, and he was speeding ahead of me. And old me, before I knew about that hack that was mentioned right there, I would get jealous and envious if I saw nice cars on the road. But when I learned the law of attraction, I realized, okay, if you see something that's amazing, you attracted that. So now when I see something like a McLaren, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just attracted a McLaren. And not surprisingly, I'm able to attract the cars that I want now. So that's a great, great suggestion. Stash Spot Tay, thank you so much for sharing it with us. Ooh, Samantha, I like this question. What would you say is the number one reason for fluctuating income levels? I'm an entrepreneur and will have amazing months and then low months. How can I stay consistent and continuously rise? Okay, so that is due to attention. Okay, so for those of you who work on like commission, sales, entrepreneurs, people whose income fluctuates, what can happen is, let's say you start getting on a roll. Okay. So you get a few sales that come in. Well, you start getting psyched. Oh my goodness, it's working. Look how well I'm doing. And because your focus is in that direction, you'll start attracting more, 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 more. If I have any entrepreneurs or salespeople on the call, let me know if this has been your experience. Okay. You'll go on a tear and you just blow up. Okay. Because you're paying attention to it. Now, same thing is true in reverse, though. So if you start to notice that the sales are dwindling, or if you start to notice that business is dwindling, what will happen is you start telling yourself, whether you're aware of it or not, this isn't working. I'm losing my mojo. Sales aren't coming. And that can cause for the sales to slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. And so it's actually very common for people who have income like that to see those kinds of spikes and fluctuations because their attention becomes laser focused on either I'm making the sales or I'm not making the sales. Okay. So, what you want to be doing, okay, is when you're having those tears where it's going up, you want to celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. So it goes up, 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 up. If you have a moment where you notice that sales are going down, you want to take that as an opportunity to go distract, go do something else, get your eye off of it. Okay, so it's a really good time if you're feeling like work's not working. It's a great day to take a break. Okay, so if I notice that sales are dwindling, I take breaks. I go do stuff. I go on short little trips or I go shopping, like, and then sales start coming back. Okay, so that's what I would try doing in that situation. Hmm. So many questions. So many questions. Okay, what we got here? What if you have a negative husband? Joanne. Ooh. See, the thing about the negative husband is like he's right there, right? So how you gonna ignore a negative husband? Okay. And this is a question I get a lot is, I live with somebody whose vibration is low. I live with somebody who thinks negatively about money. And so I'm constantly being inundated with their thoughts and opinions about reality and how it's constructed. And it's hard for me to see apart from that. Okay. So the thing to understand about husband is you don't want to worry about what husband's thinking. Okay. So husband is going to reflect back to you what your expectations about husband are. So if I believe that my husband, or if I've experienced over time that my husband has a very negative opinion about money, I've come to expect that about him. I've totally come to expect that about him. So every time I see him and we're talking about money, well, guess what he's going to do? He's going to talk negatively about money, right? But understand that you're lining up with that. You believe that he's going to think that way and express those kinds of feelings. And therefore, when he steps inside the room, that's what he does. So acknowledging that, I think, is the first most important thing is that whatever he's giving me, I believe he's going to give it to me. So he's giving me a very predictable response. So this is a hack that I use with difficult people frequently. If I wander into a conversation and we start talking about something and that person parrots back something negative, and I know that they were going to say something negative, I remind myself, oh, yeah, I thought that was going to happen. Of course it happened. It's not a big deal. He's just parroting back what I expect him to say. So what that does is it gives you kind of some control in your environment, understanding that the person's just giving you back what you expect them to give. And it reminds you that you are the creator of your reality. Husband will reflect a different thought system about money, belief structure about money, when I start to believe that he's malleable and that he's going to roll with what I'm putting out. So the first thing is just kind of take ownership. I believed he was going to act that way, so therefore he did. Fine. The second thing is I wouldn't go down the financial conversations with people who I believed were going to give me negative responses. So if I know that this person is going to say something negative about money, well, we're just not talking money then. What's the point? Right. Those things will get you started. And you'll start to notice that he starts to lay off a little bit the less you engage with those kinds of conversations. When you get used to that, you can start shifting your expectations of husband. But I would start with those two things because they are easier first steps than trying to believe that husband's going to change overnight. Okay. Just don't engage with the conversations if you can, and always be reminding yourself, oh, yeah, he's just giving me what I believe he's going to give me. Ooh, thank you, Samantha. Richard, how do I maintain a strong vibrational attraction to money in spite of sociopathic powers that be? Ooh. Okay. Got to remember that we are creating our reality. Okay. So we are the ones creating our reality. The experience, I'm assuming that we're talking about like the elites or the people in charge, the ones controlling the banks. I'm assuming that's where that question's coming from. That everything in reality is an illusion. It's an illusion of our own creation. And so, when we're living in a reality where we see on the news, or we see, on websites or blogs, that there are people controlling the money supply, that they're out to get us, that, all this kind of stuff is going on. We have to remember that, again, reality is a projection of our own consciousness. So those kinds of experiences are a projection of our own fear, our projection of fear that we're separate, a projection of fear that we're being controlled, a projection of fear that we need to guard and hold on to our things. That becomes projected outward into reality and manifests its way into these kinds of experiences where you may see people in power taking advantage. You may see the banks taking advantage. But it's an illusion of the mind. The mind is carrying a fear that is creating that experience. So it's not like these sociopathic powers are coming out of the ethers of their own volition and controlling you, me, or anybody else. It's that we have this latent fear in the subconscious mind that we can be controlled. Therefore, we align with a reality where there are sociopathic powers that be. But again, remember, it's our creation. It isn't coming to me from somewhere else. It is my fear reflecting back to me. Because that's how you take back ownership and step out of the idea that they have the ability to control you. Because the only reason that they're there in the first place is because we put them there. Okay. So, that's the at the bottom level, the foundational level, the understanding that you want to have. And from there we want to step into the understanding that, we can have any government or any system that we want, or that government or a system is irrelevant anyway. Because quite honestly, it doesn't matter who's in charge. You can still attract whatever it is that you want to attract. Ah, yes, the reptilian alien overlords. I knew it was going to be something like that. Huh. Oh, goodness. Lots of questions. I'm trying to read them all and answer at the same time. KD asks, why do we attract just a partial manifestation, but not a whole manifestation? Ooh. Okay. So I think I know what Katie is saying here. So let's say that you have a goal, like you want to manifest a car, okay? And maybe you manifest, you know, eh, you get into the dealership or you find the right one. You kind of get almost all of it, but not quite. Or maybe you want to manifest $10,000 and you start getting on a roll and you manifest 500, but it doesn't get to 10,000. I'm assuming it's something like that. Okay. The thing to understand is that, what happens again is kind of like that question that we were talking about before with the entrepreneur, where you start noticing that things are going well and they go well. You start noticing that things are not going well and they slow down. So you may have these experiences when you're manifesting through the law of attraction where there is something that you want and you manage to focus positively on it for a while and it starts clicking, 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 clicking. But then you may also notice that it's not clicking in a moment, or something else may happen that drags your vibration down a little bit. And you start noticing what isn't working, isn't working, isn't working. And so that can create this sequence of events where you move towards the manifestation. Maybe you get some of it, but then the momentum slows and it dies back down. So when you have that partial manifestation experience, it just means that for whatever reason, your attention got focused on the absence somewhere along that journey and it started to dwindle back. The good news is you can always ramp it back up again. The trick is you want to stay in that clicking place as much as you can. So when it's working, it's working, it's working. The second you notice it's not working, okay, distraction. Go take a break, go take a nap, go watch something on TV, go shopping, go do something fun. Anything you can do to stop attending to it not working. Because the more you attend to it not working, the slower that it goes. So many questions. Let's go back up here a little bit. Okay, Lauren asked a question here. How how did you shift from lack abundance with your past reality, being in lack or being poor? So for me, Lauren, it's been training, it's been rewiring. It's been noticing the patterns that don't work, the patterns that are in alignment with poverty consciousness, and stepping away from those as much as possible and becoming a student of what does work and stepping into that as much as possible. So when I notice that I have lack behaviors or lack thoughts because I was raised in a very, poverty kind of mindset. My family was all about cutting coupons and saving and going without. That's how I grew up, and I'm sure a lot of you are the same. That those voices in your head got wired in at a really young age. Don't spend money on that. Don't buy this. This is too much money. I can't afford it. That becomes programmed. Okay. So once something becomes programmed or wired into your mind, it's in your subconscious, meaning it's not something that you're consciously attending to. It's like driving a car. You get in the car and you just go. You're not thinking about, let me turn on the engine, let me steer the wheel, let me turn left. No, you just get in the car and you go because you've done it so many times that your subconscious mind just runs the program. Okay? So how you think about abundance is the same thing, or think about anything is the same thing. If you've been thinking it for a long period of time, it's gotten wired into your subconscious mind. So it's just running on its own. And whatever conscious thinking you do about trying to attract money, trying to attract wealth, trying to move beyond your current circumstances, that voice is going to keep coming up until you rewire it, until you go in and change that. I've actually done, and I'll go ahead and drop a mention to this now. I did a free training on how to silence your inner money critic with Karen Yee. I know a lot of you guys have been seeing that I've been doing this 21-day abundance challenge with Karen, and we opened it up this week. But we did at the same time launch this free training on how to silence your inner money critic. And so I would really recommend going and checking that out because it's got some really good hacks on how to get rid of that negative voice and program it for thinking positively. Because that's really what you have to do. Okay? So if you're living in a reality that is not what you prefer and you can't stop thinking negatively about it, you have to find a way to get those negative thoughts out of the mind and put the positive thoughts in the mind and wire it until it's running on automatic. That's really the game. It's all about conditioning a new habit. Once the habit is wired in the mind just starts thinking positively about money, and the voice that comes up is optimistic. I can afford that. That's no problem. I can get what I want. So now I can roll through reality and I think that way. If I want something, I can afford that. I can get that. That's no problem. And I'll literally be able to go out and buy things and money comes in to support it. Okay. But your mind has to be wired in that direction. So, Mary, if you could drop a link to that training in the comments, please do. So Mary 1111 is going to drop a link to that in the comments if any of you want to take that course. That's a free training. Let's see what we got here. How do you manifest financial freedom? Who asked that one? I just saw it. Joko? Joko? Okay. I think I said it right. How do you manifest financial freedom? There are many ways it can be done. One of the big things I think that would be helpful is to understand that, you know, freedom of money is not tied to how many dollars are in your bank account. I think that's a big misconception a lot of people have, is that there needs to be some set amount that's sitting there in order for me to feel financially free. The thing about that is no matter how much you attract, you're always going to want more because that is the nature of the universe. We're always wanting more, creating more, doing more. And so that number is always fluctuating. And so if you're holding on to this belief structure that I need to have a certain amount of money in the bank in order to feel financially free, which you probably are because most people are, that's actually a very limiting way to look at it because the amount that you're going to want and need is going to change over time. So establishing a sense of financial freedom is not about how many dollars are in the bank. It's more about trusting that at any point in time, whatever you need is going to come to you. It's trusting that whatever you need is going to come to you. And when you start to facilitate that way of thinking, what ends up happening through the law of attraction is you start noticing that more and more things are coming to support you, coming to support you. And the amount of money in the bank account actually becomes irrelevant because it doesn't matter if you took all of the money out of the bank account, you know more is going to come. All right. So that's one of the key facets is we want to get away from the idea of I need $10,000, $1,000,000, $1 billion, whatever number is in the mind about what I need in order to feel secure. and instead be able to step into the sense of trust that what I need can come to me no matter what. And it doesn't matter how much money is there. It doesn't matter what the situation is. More is going to come. More is going to come. To amplify that, the way I also like to look at it now as I've been working with this is not only does the universe support me with whatever it is that I need, it's going to do so in increasing amounts as time goes on. Okay. So starting to bake that idea into it is also helpful. I'm always going to get what I need. And then as you get used to that, the universe is always giving me more. It's always giving me more than I need. That way, you have this trust that it has nothing to do with what's in the external world. It has nothing to do with how many dollars are in the bank. It has to do with, am I suspended in that space where I fully trust that whatever I need is going to come my way? That's tapping into that belief portion. Okay. So if you're holding on to any of that residual feeling that I need a set amount of money in order to be free, oh no, you do not want to be believing or playing into that, because that makes you contingent on the dollars in the bank. That means that my happiness is tied to the dollars in the bank. That means my vibrational state is tied to the dollars in the bank. So we want to eliminate that, and we want to establish instead whatever I need, the universe is going to bring to me. That's how you establish true financial freedom. Oh, Don, I was going to ask you to post a link to the video on silencing the critic, but I decided to manifest it instead. You know what? Okay, so here, I'll drop the link right now. You want to manifest it? Here you go. Ask and you shall receive. I got a couple links there. Whoops. Okay, so I put 2 in there. The abundance training is there, but then I also put the training on how to silence your inner money critic. So there you go, Don. Very good. Thanks, Pedro. Okay, let's look for some more questions. More questions. Ooh, I like this one. Light Mission 23. Tips on how to attract more followers and clients when starting a business. Okay. This is I think is kind of at the key. Look for what you can give, not what you can get. Okay? So what can I give? How can I extend to the audience? How can I share love, shine a light on the other? That's the trick. Okay. So what most people are doing with business or with clients or social media, whatever it is, it's all about what can I get? I want all the likes, I want all the followers, I want all the money. Da, 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 da. And so what they're looking to do is to try to extract from the external world. Now, when we try to extract from the external world, we've forgotten that we're the ones creating it. Okay. So you want to turn it around, and instead you want to project on the external world that which you want to receive. If you want to be adored, loved, followed, people to buy your stuff, then you need to project a message on other people that I like you. I want to connect with you. I enjoy you. I want to give to you. I want to support you. Okay. So when you're starting a business, or anybody that's in business, sales, and really anything, guys, project onto others what you want. So try to connect with them. Try to find a reason to love them, and you will find that they will flip around and do the same for you. I see a lot of people making this mistake with business, with social media. It's all about me and what can everybody do for me. Well, we want to reach back out and try and connect with the other people in the audience and try to give to them. The more you give to them, the more they're going to give to you. It becomes a very symbiotic relationship. So that's the best advice I've got for that one. If you're starting out, just do that, and you're going to find people are going to be drawn to want to work with you. Ooh, Lori, that's a good question, and it's like right on the nose, right? How do you continually stay in a good money mindset with bill collectors calling, etc.? Ooh, so that conjures all kinds of images, doesn't it? So, what you want to do in a situation like that, we have to rewire or reframe how we look at that situation. Because what's probably happening now is that the phone rings and I know it's a bill collector and I start to freak out. Okay. So we have to find a way to reframe what that means so that when the bell rings, when the person calls, I respond with a positive vibrational response rather than a fearful one. Okay. So we have to reframe what that means. Now, this is something that everybody has to do for themselves because different things are going to ring your bells. But were it me, okay, let's say that I had this situation where bill collectors were calling. I was having this fearful response. I might try to reframe it to something like, and I do this one a lot. So you guys can try this one if you'd like. This is an opportunity to test my law of attraction powers. This person's giving me an opportunity to practice a positive mindset under any and all conditions. I like to do that one when negative stuff comes up because what it does is it gives me kind of a challenge. It becomes more of a game. So instead of me freaking out, I remember, oh, yeah, I create my reality. And here's an opportunity to have a little game. And so I see the bill collector now as a player in a game rather than some authority figure that's going to ruin my life. Okay, so that's really the trick with any of those kinds of scenarios is if you find that you're having that fearful response, that's something you always want to redefine what it means to you. You start redefining what it means to you and you do it consistently. That's the other thing. So every time the guy calls, you got to put that back on. You got to remind yourself that this is a game, it's an opportunity, it's a practice. And if you wire that in, then it becomes your default habit of dealing with that kind of scenario is to have a positive response to it. And once you have a positive response to a negative stimulus, the negative stimulus ceases to be a negative stimulus. And through the law of attraction, it will shift and become something quite wonderful. But you have to reframe how you respond to it. That's the big trick. Ooh, Christine, how to take the leap in business. I like that question too. For me, I have a cleaning company that is wearing me out, and I want to create an online business. Okay. This one really speaks to action. Okay. So, for those of you who are wanting to make a leap in career, a leap in business, maybe a change of profession, anything like that, action and quick action. I found that that's really the trick. So, Christine, if you got an idea for an online business, just get going. And I don't mean you need to build the whole thing today, but get going. What's the first step? Go do it. Go do it today. Get off the call. Go do it now. Okay. Right away. Okay. I like the right away aspect. So if you've got an idea for how to get a promotion, how to get a job, a new online business to start, something that you want to do, what's the beginning idea? Do not delay. Get off today's call and go do it right now. And then after you do that, whatever the next thing is, go do it right now. And what starts to happen is you start to trigger the law of attraction momentum, which is I'm going after what I want. I'm going after what I want. There's a lot of energy and power in that that raises your vibration, raises your belief that you're going to be able to accomplish that. The other thing that quick action does, Christine, is it slows down the fear response. So what happens is we get this idea like, okay, I want to start an online business. And then trusty old subconscious mind starts shooting out all the limitations. I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. I've never done that before. I don't know anybody that's done that. This isn't going to work. That isn't going to work. And the longer you let the subconscious mind go to work on that idea, the more limitations it's going to throw at you and the more fearful it's going to become. And so often you may see that this happens, guys, with your goals. That there's something that you want to accomplish, and you wait and wait and wait, and like 3, 4, 5 weeks, maybe a month goes on, and you've been so stressed out about it. And when you finally go and do it, it's not that big of a deal. Like you get it done really quick, and you're like, "What was I so stressed out about? That wasn't even that hard at all." It's because that subconscious mind is just shooting those fears at you. So quick action towards your goals allows you to shut off that fear response quicker. Okay. So anybody who's got a goal about accomplishing business goals, sales goals, job goals, promotion, just start doing now. And don't even think about it. Just do, 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 do. And you'll eliminate out the fear and start building that progress of momentum toward your goal. Hello, Tanya. Good morning. Thank you, Nicole. Very good. Oh, I like this question. I don't think I'm gonna be able to pronounce this whole one. I'm gonna try. Jador Lestor Nisols. Maybe I got it right. I don't know. How to feel safe in receiving huge blessings and miracles. My automatic reaction tends to be doubting my worthiness, guilt, which doesn't feel good. Thanks in advance. Ooh, yeah, I mean, a lot of us, we kind of grow up being told no a lot, or you grow up in an unloving situation, or there's trauma, there's things that happen in your past that can create the automatic response of guilt, shame, unworthiness. And probably everybody that's on this call can relate to that on some level or another. And that's a lot of the game here with the law of attraction is stepping into a sense of worthiness. Um, deserving is a word that rubs people the wrong way sometimes because it implies somehow that you have to work for it or that you have to earn it, and truthfully you do not need to work for or earn anything. So part of this equation is understanding that the universe just is. Everything just is. Abundance just is. It's just there. It's there for anybody. It's there for all of us. You don't need to earn it. You don't need to work for it. It's just there. Anybody can have it. And it's not built upon deserving. It's not built upon how good you are. It's not built upon how smart you are, how fast you are, how intelligent you are. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is, am I in alignment with it? And that is it. And that has nothing to do with deserving. So something that may be helpful to you is to look around your environment and start to notice that all different kinds of people are attracting wealth, they're attracting blessings, they're attracting things that perhaps they quote unquote don't deserve. Because we want to get you to stop thinking that you need to earn things in life because you don't need to earn anything. Reality is a projection of consciousness. It's not a projection of hard work. It's not a projection of, how many credit hours did you get this semester and how many hours did you work this week? It's not that at all. It's a projection of your consciousness. If it's a projection of your consciousness, it doesn't matter how much work you're doing. None of that matters. So it's not about earning. That's something we really want to start to notice is that, money isn't telling you that you're a good or bad person. Just because you earn a bunch of money, earn a great living, money drops in your lap, it does not mean that you somehow are better than everybody else or you deserved it more, you earned it more. No, it doesn't mean any of that at all. Money just is. Anybody can have it. So therefore you don't need to deserve it. You don't need to earn it. So that's something you really want to start focusing on and noticing is that a lot of times blessings come when I didn't try or do anything. Some of the best things that come to me come when I didn't earn anything at all. I know plenty of people who are, attracting money that didn't earn it, didn't try that hard. So it must not have anything to do with my worthiness as a human being. Okay. So we want to detach your worthiness from blessings. Oh my goodness. All right, guys, we've been on the call for like a half hour. And I'm going to go ahead and take a couple more questions. I was going to stop about now, but I'm having fun. So if you've got some questions about financial abundance and how to look away from your current reality to attract more money and abundance, go ahead and drop them in the comments. And again, I do have the free training on how to silence your inner money critic that I mentioned earlier. I did that with Karen Yee. I'm going to go ahead and drop a link to that in the comments if you'd like to take it. And then also, Karen and I did launch our 21-day abundance challenge. I'll drop a link to that as well if you want to check that out. That challenge, the launch closes tomorrow. So the first link there is a free course. The 21-day abundance challenge is a premium course, but it's 50% off through tomorrow. So if you're interested in looking at that, go ahead and check out that link. But I am going to take a couple more questions here on financial abundance. So if you've got one, drop it in the comments. Oh, goodness. So many questions. Okay. Okay. So I've got Coriel's life. Is it just our job to come up with the pathway for the money to come through? I can get into the vibration of it, but at some point I need the funds to actually be here on the 3D. But how does it come? Oh, the pathway. It's not your job to come up with the pathway. It's your job to follow the path and understand that the path can twist and turn and move in many directions that you do not understand and will not understand, because the higher mind, your higher self, is trying to guide you from A to B. So if you have a something that you want, let's say that you want to come to money for some particular reason, you have to be willing to take the path that's given to you. And you have to be willing to put down the path that you think is the correct path if the evidence is showing you it is not the correct path. Okay? So for instance, let's say that I have a goal for myself. I would like to attract half a million dollars in the next 6 months. Okay, so a really great exercise to do might be to sit there and think about, well, how might I do this? And see what comes to mind and jot it all down. Okay, so that's you coming up with some ideas, a possible path. And then you would kind of go through that list and ask which one feels right, which one feels good. And if there's one of them on that list that feels like fun, that's the thing I would do. That's the thing I would start with. Now, I might start with that action. So let's say that maybe, in that list of things, one of the things was I'm going to create a new product. Okay. And that really sounded like fun. I'll start going down that path, but I'm still getting guidance from the higher mind. And the higher mind is going to guide me based on how I feel. So I might be going down that path and then get diverted to stop doing that project and go leap over to a different project. You have to be willing to be directed off the path that you're on at any given point in time. That's the trickiest part for people. People like to have the full mapped out plan. This is A, B, C, D, E, F, G of what I need to do to get to my goal. But that's not the way that the universe works. The universe knows what you want and it's going to try to guide you vibrationally there. Sometimes it may pull you down a path with a carrot, and then it's going to pull you down a different path with a different carrot. And you have to be willing to go where it's taking you. So don't get too hung up on what the path is today or what the path was yesterday. It's how do I feel right now about where I am? And what do I think I need to be doing right now that feels right? And giving yourself permission to do that. And sometimes that's not doing anything at all. I tell you plenty of times that I've been guided to go do things, create things, build things to make money. And at some point in the day, the universe says, you know what? We're not doing anything. Go take a nap or go shopping, go call your friends, go do something else. And I completely get off the path of doing whatever that project was at all. And then all of a sudden money shows up. So you have to be willing to take the guidance moment to moment to moment. What else we got here? I'm going to do a couple more questions. Thank you for the validation there, Pedro. Found a lost pet by doing that. That's really good. Ooh, NM Venus. Is the guidance only through your feeling or also in signs and synchronicities? I was actually going to make a video about this question. So I'm just going to talk about it now because I've noticed this is that there's the feeling, right? But I like the signs too. Something I've noticed, and maybe you guys can relate. If you can relate to this, let me know. Um, I can tell a direction sometimes by what signs are popping up. So sometimes like maybe I'm kind of stressed out in traffic and then a car pulls in front of me and it's got a sign painted on it that says, pray or relax. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, relax." Or maybe I'm going too fast and moving around too fast and I notice a sign that pops up that says slow down. I like to pay attention to that kind of feedback too. So your external reality will kind of give you some guides and some clues. It'll tell you whether you're clicking along. And when you're clicking along, it's going to give you a lot of positive feedback. Because if I'm in a high vibrational state, the universe is going to provide for me a lot of high vibrational kind of messages to keep me going. If I'm in a negative state, you're going to see a lot of blocks, a lot of stops, a lot of don'ts, a lot of not this way. And so I do like to use those kind of tools as well. I do feel that you're feeling, if you really tapped into how you feel and you can really tell when you feel good and you feel bad, that's the primary one that I like to lead with. But yeah, you can also look in your reality because your reality will tell you if you're on the right path or not as well. All right. I'm going to do one more question. Let's take a look at what we've got here. Oh, okay. And the winner is victory of love. I like this question. What do you think about getting a 9 to 5 because you want to make money while working on your hobbies on the side, mostly because your parents want you to work? Oh, okay. Hmm. Okay. This is advice a lot of parents don't like, I don't think. But here's the deal. You got to do what you're being pulled to do. Okay. Um, if you don't really want to get the 9 to 5, I wouldn't. If you know what you want to be doing, I would do that. Now, to that being said, that's saying that you have a clear idea of what you rather be doing and what you don't want to be doing. Sometimes people do not have a clear idea of what they, should or shouldn't be doing, or want to or not want to be doing. Sometimes you have to get the 9 to 5 because it feels better to get the 9 to 5 than not. So, for instance, there may be people out there that they don't really want the 9 to 5 job, but the idea of not having a job is more fearful and stressful. Well, if that's your situation, then I would just go ahead and get the job and wait for more guidance to lead you out of it. Okay, but if you're in a position right now where you don't have a job and maybe you don't need a job and maybe somebody else wants you to get the job, but you really want to be doing this over here, if that's your situation, I would do this over here and see where that takes you. How many of us, I know as an adult, I can say this for myself, and I'm sure plenty of people that are on this call have had this experience. You went down the traditional path and you got the job you were supposed to get and you did the things that you were supposed to do, and it led you down a path you didn't really like because you weren't really following your guidance. And you could have just played guitar more when you were in high school, or you could have just picked up, tried the side business early on. You could have done that stuff, but you didn't do that. Instead, you did what your parents wanted you to do. When we just do what we want, what our parents want us to do, or what anybody else wants for us to do, what we're doing is we're shutting out our internal guidance. We're saying what I want isn't important. The external reality has to tell me what to do. Again, I create my reality. And it's important that I have the highest vibration to create the highest reality that I can. So if there's something else that I want to be doing that makes my heart sing, why would I shut down my vibrational state to go do what the external world is telling me, which is only going to lower my vibrational reality and make it harder for me to have the reality that I want? Okay. So in these kinds of situations, if you don't need the job, if this is just about pleasing somebody, I wouldn't do it. That's my opinion. Mom and dad may not like me, but that's okay. I will accept that. All right, guys, thanks so much for jumping on the call with me today on these questions on how to look past your current financial reality in order to attract more money. Again, we do have a couple of trainings that you can join. I do have a 21-day abundance challenge going on right now. That one is a paid course. And I do also have a free training with Karen Yee about how to silence your inner money critic. And so I will link those up below. But thanks so much for joining me on this call. I love you guys. Thanks so much. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. All right. Bye bye.